Happy birthday,
Thank
Mark.
you very much. I'm glad we started with that. Yeah, positive.
Very, very snowy conditions. 2 days training indoors this week, so not ideal preparation.
No, not at all. But needs must, and we're really grateful that Cirencester was allowed us to use this place, as we were Winchcombe last week. I need the white stuff to go. It's lovely for a couple of days, but that's it. It's a pain for a footballer. The disruption it causes, and we trained at Seasons on Monday on one of the cross pitches down the bottom, but you end up churning it up and looking, and the pitch will be ruined. But we've got to work. We had a really good day in here yesterday, and we'll just carry that on and prepare for tomorrow. Unfortunately, we're not positioned to go to the Far East or Dubai or whatever and get out warm weather training. So we're grateful that we've been able to use this place, and we just got to prepare as normal.
What's the surface like? Is it 3G?
Yeah, it's been updated. Swindon were here yesterday when we come, so it looks like Forest Green are in there. You said we have to fit in around times whenever you book it and stuff like that. But it's a good facility, and we're happy to get some work. And so we just have to prepare for the game tomorrow night. And
you have to work on the basis that the match will be
on,
of course, because the thaw is coming slowly.
Yeah, of course. I believe contingencies have been made. Contingencies have been made. Should it not go ahead, the groundsman I think he's stuck in between two stools at the minute. He could do with snow clearing off, but I think if we've got helpers on clearing the pitch off, I think it would just ruin the pitch. It's that wet underneath, but frozen as well. So I feel for Terry. He's been in constant touch with me. He's doing all he can. The club will do all he can. We've also made contingencies about when the game would be played if it were not to go ahead.
So, as we know, the transfer window is open. Darren Carter's name seems to have been on everybody's lips all week in terms of what's happening.
Yeah.
Can you give us any more?
We got myself and the agent. Looks like we've got our wires crossed slightly on a couple of things. I've just told him what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was done. I think Darren wants to sign, and I'm hopeful it'll get concluded. If not, we'll have done everything we can. But I'm hopeful that Darren will be here.
What's the market like in terms of trying to sign players on loans? Because you can do 3-month loans, I think, from tomorrow, and it'll cover the rest of the season potentially.
But then you've got to be careful of if we take a loan, it'll be with a view to May the 23rd, May the 18th, May the 23rd. I think that's what Paul was talking about, because then that covers any potential playoffs. So we have to be mindful of that. We're all in sorted with stuff like that. There's lots going on under the surface. It looks like I've done absolutely nothing for the last few weeks in terms of player recruitment, but that couldn't be further from the truth. It's just a case of I know what I want. If I don't get A, I want B or C, or whatever. And it's just a case of getting the ones that I can. And like I said, I've always done. If I wait a little while longer than is ideal, then I'm quite prepared to do that.
Do you chuckle at some of the names that get thrown out as being linked with Cheltenham?
Yeah, I do. But it amazes me where it all comes from. I've heard that I upset a few people with my attitude last week. I get bored of the same questions, sometimes. And I like to do my business in private. I also understand people want it out there, but when it's out there, and if I go, I do want this player, that player, the other. First, managers don't like it, and secondly, it just alerts other people and makes my job even harder.
So will you knock back the Chris Porter one then?
Yeah. I mean, first I knew was on the way here.
Happy birthday to you.
First I knew was Bucky got hold of me on the way down here, and he just left the training ground, and he said on the back of the paper, we're signing Chris Porter. And I think it was a shock to him, and it was a shock to me. So listen, he's a good player, we know that, but it's not something I can honestly say that I've pursued.
Since you played at Morecambe, Rochdale have dispensed with the services of John Coleman and brought Keith Hill back, and of course Hill was a player with you at Cheltenham, wasn't he?
Oh, well, he did a fantastic. Yeah, he did. He was great. Yeah, great character to have around. Did a wonderful job. Probably best. He was a good player. We all knew that. Didn't have the best of times at our club, but got the best out of Julian Alsop, and I think that's what Cheltenham will probably really remember him for. He really got Julian Alsop firing and how to behave himself, how to be a model professional, and the job Keith did at Rochdale was some achievement, and he's done bigger and better things since. I was shocked like everybody else that he got he left Barnsley. Another good manager in League Two.
He had a nickname Hot Grub Hill when he was at Cheltenham too, didn't he?
Yeah, it's new for me. I don't know. He was a good lad. I liked him. Dry. Neil speaks to him quite regularly. Him and Dave Flitcroft, so they're from the same neck of the woods. So he's a good football man. He's his own man, and he'll have Rochdale trying to surge up that table. And
that's the thing, I suppose, for you, isn't it? When you've got somebody new appointed, they will be wanting to impress the new man in the dugout. Yeah. That is the thing. So we have to be aware of that. But we've got to show Rochdale that we're not the team that went up there and got our backsides tanned. So we've got to make sure that they see a different side to us. And if we do that, we'll give anybody a game. And in a sense, you know what's coming from them, don't you?
Yeah, we do.
Certainly in the top half of the pitch, they're pretty dangerous.
They are. Their front four are decent. Their middle two are decent. The back four aren't bad, and the keeper's pretty good. They got good players. I thought, John and Jimmy were trying to get the way. They play that way. Whether Keith changes it slightly, I don't know. But they got good players that we've got to be wary of. But we're at home, and we've got to address what went wrong a couple of weeks ago.
And just so lastly, the match is tomorrow. Do you think that you might have anybody extra registered for tomorrow, or are you planning just to pick from what you have?
Well, I've just told you my story with my phone. That's been a disaster. Hopefully it sort of warms through and comes back on. Potentially I could have one or two. That said, if there's nothing done, I'm more than happy, because the performance the other night was encouraging, and we just got to keep believing and keep going.
Grand. Thank you.
Well, what's your view on the transfer window in general? Do you think it's a good idea, or do you think it's a nightmare for managers because of the?
I hate it, to be honest, John. It's a nightmare, but it's part of football. You have to get on with it. I'm happy enough dealing with it. In an ideal world, you'd have your targets, and you would get them January the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and you'd be done with it. But when you're working on I've got a bit of money, and I've got to use it as best I can to bring in 1, 2, 3, 4 players, whatever I can do, and I've got to make sure it's right. And it's also a case of you have to look short term to make the immediate impact, but you also have to look. We've tried to look medium to long term in terms of, can we bring players in, on 18-month longer contracts, because we need to keep improving, keep evolving. I don't want to be having to make hundreds of changes in the summer, so I want continuity, and it's that now's the time where we can, once January's out of the way, we can sit down with a few and sort out where we're going. But hopefully, we're not just looking at 1 or 2 loans. We're looking at possibly a permanent. Everything just depends. I'm waiting for the first one to kick in, John, to be honest, like all the fans are, like you are, and then once one kicks in, it'll tell me where I'm going with everything else.
Yep. So what's the ideal birthday present for you today?
My phone to get back working to start with, the lads to have a good session, and then get everything right for tomorrow night and get 3 points.
Yep.
I'll have a belated birthday present.
All right. Yeah. Cheers, Mark.
Cheers,
Thanks, Mark.